Welcome back to the Quantum Guide Show. Today, I would like to introduce you to my new guest, Tom Paladino. Tom is a holistic medical expert, scalar energy researcher, and humanitarian, and he's based in Florida. Scalar energy is the fundamental life force found everywhere in the world, space, and universe. It originates from the sun and stars. Chi, prana, om, mana, life force, pyramid energy, or 0 point energy are synonymous terms for scalar energy. Tom theorized that all energy in the universe initiates as scalar energy, and that the sun of our solar system and the stars of the universe are its points of origin, the storehouses for scalar energy. He further theorized that scalar energy is instructive energy, as the entire universe is instructed by the divine essence. Subsequently, all spiritual, cognitive, emotional, and physical action in the universe is initiated and maintained by scalar energy instructions. Scalar energy provides order in the universe. You can learn more about Tom and his work by visiting www.scalarlight.com. And all of the links can be accessed through the description box below this video. Please do leave us a comment, subscribe, and share this podcast with your friends. Tom, welcome to the Quantum Guide Show. How are you doing today?
I am well. Thank you for the invite, Karen.
You're very welcome. It's a fascinating topic. I've actually studied 0 point and quantum physics and scalar energy and manifestation and all of that stuff for years, and I just can't seem to get enough of it. So I'm really pleased to have you on the show today to talk to myself and, of course, the viewers and the listeners about this exciting subject and its potential for a brighter future for all of us. But let's just go back a little bit, and why don't you tell the folks and myself about how you got started in all of this?
As a youngster, I read the works of Nikola Tesla, the great scientist Nikola Tesla. I've always had a great curiosity for science. I knew that Tesla was onto something. I realized that Tesla, later in his life, specifically, Tesla was working with non-physical reality. Tesla was no longer working with AC electricity. And I realized that Tesla was tapping into free energy. That fascinated me. And even Tesla himself, he called it radiant energy. That's the energy of the future. Not electricity, not coal, not a wind turbine, the free energy of the sun and the stars. So I have followed that path, if you will. I've created scalar energy instruments, and I hope to someday to be able to introduce this as a new science, a valid science, obviously, with great benefit, with so much opportunity for the world. That's where we're at today.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I was going to ask you, where does scalar energy actually come from? Can you describe its essence or its nature to us?
Well, it pervades the universe, so I believe it's a divine energy. I believe it's source. I believe it's from God. And if you will, the storehouses, so to speak, are the stars, our sun and the stars. I've looked at the behavior of stars, and to me, that's not electromagnetic behavior. And even Tesla himself said he wanted to harness the energy of the sun. He thought he could turn on sun energy, if you will. And that's where we're at today. So we don't work with electrical currents. This is not electromagnetic energy. It's a different energy. So to be very clear, scalar energy is not electricity. Scalar energy is known over the centuries as chi, prana, consciousness. There are two energies, and hence there's two realities. And when we say quantum energy or the quantum reality, it's very real. It's distinct from electromagnetic behavior. So we really are working in a different dimension now. Not only is it energy outside of the electromagnetic spectrum. It's quite
Mhm.
fascinating. So we're tapping into that other dimension.
It occurred to me actually some time ago that this energy, which of course, I guess science, or I guess even the industrial, military, whatever complex, it's probably much bigger than that. They want to make money. That's why they got rid of Wilhelm Reich, who used orgone energy, which is probably the same thing, and Tesla, and everybody who brings awareness to this kind of energy. They sort of shut that down so that we'd have to rely on copper wires and electricity. But I think this other energy is not only much more complex and beneficial on a physical level, but I think it's also very beneficial on a spiritual level. And I've analyzed a lot of scriptural writings about Holy Spirit, and I think Holy Spirit could also be included in there, because when you ask for help or for things that you need or for improvement, what we would refer to as Holy Spirit comes to the fore. And I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but it sounds a lot to me like scalar energy.
It is. It's the presence. It's the omnipresence of God. It is a divine energy, and it is the Holy Spirit. To accomplish what I've accomplished is impossible unless it's some type of divine action. And I'll demonstrate these. You'll see how we are scalar energy instruments in which I can capture this consciousness, or what some people would call the Holy Spirit, or the action of the Holy Spirit. Well, why am I so effusive in that regard? The energy's everywhere. It transcends time and space. The energy never weakens. There's no entropy. The energy exists from every star, every if you will, every star in the universe is broadcasting this. So that's an infinite supply of energy. Only God could do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it
So
has any.
you're
Sorry, I don't
absolutely
mean to
right.
interrupt.
This
It's
is
just you're
divine
cutting
energy.
out a
And
little
I'm going
bit, and I don't want the folks to miss any of your message. Could you repeat that again, Tom?
the energy is everywhere. Every star in the universe is broadcasting scalar energy. Now, how is it possible that an infinite universe could produce an infinite energy? Well, it has to be from an infinite God.
And do you think people have to be the member of any religious group in order to access this, in order to understand it or use it?
No,
No, it doesn't have anything to do with man-made religion,
no,
does it?
it does not. It does not. And I frequently work with pets, with animals. I've worked with a kangaroo in Australia. Well, I don't think kangaroos have any religious practice that I know of. So it's for everybody. It's the life force energy from God. And God is so magnificent. He's going to give this gift to everybody, regardless of your background. You have this gift.
Can you explain to us a bit about how scalar energy actually transmutes matter?
Yes, I can. Um, First of all, I'm going to hold up my photograph. When I work with these instruments, again, this is quantum energy. I don't work with people, I work with energy fields. This is my photograph, and it has an energy field attached to it. Any photograph of any person, animal, object has an energy field. So I work with this instrument accessing a force field on a photograph. Now, I can transmute, or I can break down the herpes virus if I take these two photographs and place them inside my instrument. These two photographs will communicate with one another. There's a sharing of information. All of my work is informational, it's non-physical. This is not a biochemical process. So the scalar energy instrument will look at the signature of the herpes virus, find it in my quantum field, and transmute it, or break it down into smaller particles, or if you will, confuse the energy signal, or bring it to a state of chaos. So when we speak of transmutation, we're changing one thought to another thought. We're changing a physical form to another physical form. We're changing one signature to another signature. So all of our work is non-physical. Transmutation is an informational process. And in conjunction with this instrument, I can use scalar energy to interpret a virus, transmute it into a different signal or into a different energetic pattern. By way of scalar energy, I can bring the herpes virus to a state of chaos by transmuting it. This is only accomplished through scalar energy. Transmutation is not a function of electromagnetic behavior. Transmutation is possible through the scalar energy realm or the quantum realm. So we see that there's two physics. You have electromagnetic physics and you have scalar physics. And hence the properties of scalar energy are different than. Now I'm going to demonstrate. I mentioned that I'm working with star energy. Yeah. This is the energy of the sun. This is a miniature star behind me to demonstrate. If I hold up a light bulb in my hand, the instrument can illuminate that light bulb. So there's an energy that's broadcasting from that Tesla coil. The energy is so strong, it can pass through a wooden board. If I likewise hold up this light bulb, it will illuminate under the influence of scalar energy. A wooden board is not an obstacle for star energy. Why? Because scalar energy passes through anything. So that wooden board is no barrier, presents no obstacle to illuminating a light bulb. So this obviously is not electromagnetic behavior. This is a different type of energy. If I hold a watt meter close to the instrument will not register any wattage, any type of electrical current. Why? It's not electricity. So I am working in a different dimension. There are two dimensions, and I can access this quantum dimension through this instrument. And people, when they send me their photograph, bilocate to my laboratory. This is teleportation. All of this is now ringing true. All of our theories are now being proven. People can teleport, at least by way of their photograph. People transcend time and space because they can be in my laboratory and at home at the same time. Your photograph is your quantum bilocated version. You do not travel to my laboratory. You send your photograph as your substitute. You're in two places at once. You bilocate with scalar energy. So when I place my photograph inside the quantum field, side by side the photograph of the herpes virus, I can instruct my quantum plane to look for the herpes virus and to negate it or to bring it to a state of transmutation. Now, all of this is scalar energy principles. The work of scalar energy. This is not electricity. Electricity doesn't behave this way. So I want to inculcate that concept, and this does not behave according to the laws of electricity and magnetism.
Wow, that's fantastic. I just want to let you know I am having a few technical...
I want to introduce,
Sorry, Tom, I don't mean to interrupt you again, but I am having a few technical difficulties and you're freezing up. So if I stop you, it's because I want you to repeat what you're going to say so that everybody gets it. So please excuse me for that.
No
Go
problem.
ahead.
No problem. If I missed anything, let me know.
I will. That's why I'm getting you to repeat. Sorry about that.
Okay, not a problem. So again, to be clear, this is a scalar energy instrument. I'm not working with electromagnetic theory. So a new branch of physics is taking shape here. And that new branch of physics realizes that everything is energy, scalar energy, and my photograph has a source or a code or a signature. I never work with people. I work with their photograph, which is their quantum equivalent. People bilocate to my laboratory. So this is the new science where we could work with one person or 100 people or 1,000,000 people a day by way of a photograph.
Fantastic. Really fantastic.
Thank you.
And oh my goodness, people I think are really tired of the conventional medical system and going back to the doctor over and over and over again, not getting results, bags of pills, costing them a fortune in medical expenses, when really we can take this other route via this other dimension that you're telling us about.
You're right.
And take advantage of the healing techniques like what you have devised for everybody. Now, I'm curious if you could tell us a little bit about how scalar energy or scalar light can actually help us to form our own nutrients. That is really fascinating.
Yeah. All of my work is with light or a representation of light. I'm going to hold up a photograph of B2. This is a magnified photograph of vitamin B2, riboflavin. Now, this photograph has energy attached to it. If I wanted B2, I would simply download it into my quantum field by taking a photograph of vitamin B2, placing it in the scalar energy environment close to my photograph. Again, those two photographs will communicate with one another. I will receive energetically the transmutation, the download of vitamin B2 into my quantum field. So to be clear, this is not a chemical process. It's an energetic process through the photograph of a vitamin and my photograph. Why? Because everything is energy, and you can download into your aura, you can download into your quantum field a vitamin through a photograph.
That's fantastic. Can I just recap to make sure I'm understanding this correctly? Yes. So scalar energy is in a different dimensional reality than electricity and electromagnetism as we understand it. Yes. It has the ability to, I'm going to use the word travel, which probably isn't the right word, but through where there is no time and space. It can heal us if we send you a photograph of ourselves and I guess tell you our health concern. You can take a picture of that. You can expose it to your equipment, and your equipment will actually change our quantum reality so that that disease state, it can't exist or can no longer exist, or is broken up into small enough pieces that it gets transmuted and is no longer a problem for us. But then even beyond that, we can also get help with nutrition. And I know the B vitamins, they're just starting to come out with so much research on vitamin B1 and all the B vitamins and how essential they are and how deficient we are. And you can actually take a picture of a nutrient and expose it to your equipment along with a photograph of us. Yes. And improve our situation by actually transmuting that nutrition into our bodies to heal us. Is that correct?
That's correct. We're transmuting the energy of the photograph into our quantum body. Yes. So that's not a chemical process. All of this is informational. And that proves that we're not only flesh and blood, we have an aura or a spirit. I work with spirit. I work with information. None of my work is physical. So we do have a spirit. You're right. There is a Holy Spirit. And this is the access that we have to that other dimension. I actually work in a spirit dimension, an angelic dimension, a non-physical dimension. Exactly.
Wow, that's like so fantastic. And I know so many people are going to benefit from this. This is really, really exciting stuff. And so I was wondering if you could talk a bit about the future of scalar energy. And as we learn to accept it, how is that going to change our world?
Well, take, for instance, this this process that I've explained, I could easily work with millions of photographs on a daily basis. Today, I work with 500,000 photographs. Now, we're still a small operation. Eventually, we'll be working with 5 or 10 million photographs a day. Imagine what that means. In a short period of time, we could work with everybody in the state of Illinois or everybody in the state of Florida. Okay, so that's quantum healing by way of a photograph. It has nothing to do with medical science. It's a new science in which people, their health is enhanced, their spiritual, cognitive, emotional, physical health is enhanced by way of a photograph. Then eventually we're going to broaden the horizon, so to speak. We'll use this energy to power our homes. I believe scalar energy can be used to create anti-gravity platforms. So the future will be in anti-gravity transportation by way of scalar energy power. We're not going to use gas in our cars. The new power will be scalar energy to overcome gravity. All of this is possible, but the world has to get involved. There has to be a great deal of research. Now, we have to continue on with the work of Nikola Tesla. We are, but there has to be if you will, a wide acceptance of his work. There still is too much confusion. There has to be greater acceptance of his work and eventually of my work. So help us out. It's all grassroots. I need your help, frankly.
That's fantastic. That is really, really fantastic. Now, I'm wondering if there is a potential too for healing the planet, like, for instance, water supplies and our food supplies that have been contaminated. Can we undo GMO foods? Can we get rid of the effects of the chemtrails?
Good point. Good point. I have in my collection photographs of genetically modified food, and I'm able to download that information and transmute those proteins, those man-made proteins. So I've been successful in doing that. Now, as far as a body of water, if it's a small body of water, I could, for instance, photograph a pond or a small pond, and I could eradicate, let's say, if there's too much algae or too much bacteria in that pond, I could eradicate that. But it has to be a small body of water. It can't be an ocean. You can't photograph an entire ocean. Moving on, I've worked with, as I mentioned, with animals before. I've worked with kangaroos in Australia. I've worked with elephants in Asia. The elephant photograph that we were sent, the complaint was the elephant had a viral infection. After we worked with the elephant no longer had any. The ohia tree in Hawaii, the ohia tree is experiencing a fungal infection, rapid ohia death. And after we work with these ohia trees, the trees respond and the trees no longer die. The trees are no longer infected with this fungus, Serratus cystis. So you're beginning to see how broad the possibilities are, how far-reaching these possibilities are. Energy is fundamental. Energy dictates nature. We can work with nature now. We can have a greater command over nature with light. Energy allows us to have that dominion over nature.
Wow, that's fantastic. Now, I'm wondering, is there any negative side effects that you know of or that you've heard of? Any problems arising from using this technology?
No. Why? Because your photograph is pure spirit. You cannot have any type of biochemical reaction because of spirit. A photograph cannot experience any type of medical condition or biochemical reaction. This is an entirely new science. And this is why I've not associated with the medical community. God bless the medical community. I do respect them. I have nothing to do with medicine. This is a brand new science. This is not Western medicine. This is not Western thought. This is not Newtonian physics. This is a new chapter in science.
Wow. Can you elaborate a little bit on how it's not tied to time and it's not tied to distance?
Yeah, scalar energy is a double helix. It actually is the double helix that creates our DNA, our life molecule, which is a double helix. Now, when you rotate scalar energy in one direction, time moves forward. Rotate a scalar wave in the other direction, time moves backwards. So the cause of time is a scalar wave. So let it be understood, because the stars are rotating in one distinct motion, time is moving forward, at least in this part of the universe. That's the cause of time. The motion of scalar energy is responsible for the motion of time. What is the cause of time? Scalar energy. Now, if you look at the scalar energy spectrum, it transcends time and space. So it's in control of time or space also, so to speak. So if we look at a scalar energy dimension, it really is a holographic universe that we're looking at. Why? Because scalar energy possesses all time and all space. So not only is scalar energy the cause of time, it's the cause of space. So everything has to have an expression. What are the instructions behind time? Scalar energy. What are the instructions behind space? Scalar energy. Why is the universe so vast? Because scalar energy is so vast. So in order to have an infinite universe, you have to have an infinite information, which is scalar energy. If you look at the universe, it's infinite. Space is infinite. So there has to be an infinite character. There has to be an infinite information system that created it, which is scalar energy.
Wow, that's such a, oh, it's such an exciting topic, because the potential, it seems to me that we have been, well, I guess programmed as a species. Humans have been programmed. We've been programmed for thousands of years. And what's been left out of the programming is this huge, vast arena of potentiality, like, for instance, scalar light. And so we've been taught that things are very three-dimensional and very solid, and that certain rules apply. And so we believe it, we buy into it. And then we create the world that we're living in today. But the sooner we can transition our thinking and our knowing into accepting this other reality full of potential, the sooner we can heal the planet. I've been saying for years, there's nothing we can't do if we put our minds to it. We can have peace on earth. We can have paradise. Like, we can all imagine paradise. That's something we can all agree on. Maybe it would look a little bit different from person to person, but basically there's no reason why we have to live in a world of perceived scarcity, of perceived competition, of perceived sickness. All of this we can do away with ourselves. We have the power to do that collectively by understanding the true nature of the universe. And I agree with you. I think it's a holographic universe. It's the only model that makes sense to me, and based on the information I've heard. But I'm wondering if we can transition back to the body and into healing. And I understand that scalar light actually can balance our 7 chakras and all of our meridians. So those that are familiar with the energy centers, acupuncture, acupressure, chakra work, how does scalar energy tie into all of that?
If this is the energy, the light of the Holy Spirit, then the Holy Spirit is downloading into our chakras, into our brain waves. So what's the point? The energy is self-directed. It's constructive energy. It's corrective energy. I am not the animating force. I don't claim to be a healer. The healing is from energy, specifically it's the hand of the Holy Spirit. Now, to animate once again this light bulb, if I can animate a light bulb, then I should be able to animate the 7 chakras and the brain waves. And this is what we experience. So if you will, when I place my photograph close to this instrument, my photograph is enjoying a chakra balancing. Here, all of that white light is going into my chakras. Now, if that happens, and I theorize it does, then I can reprogram my 7 chakras. I can reprogram my brain waves and my thinking. Some people tell us that the chakra program has lifted their depression, has solved some of their emotional issues. Others have said that they've given up cigarettes or tobacco products, or they've been able to give up recreational drugs. all by the influence of scalar energy on your photographic imprint, on your photographic quantum version. Okay, what if that's the theory? Why? How is that possible? Well, the energy, there must be inbuilt healing to the energy. I say there is, because this is God's energy and God can heal. So the key element here is we're moving away from that paradigm of electromagnetic that people are bound to, have this, they're shackled to, and we're going into non-physical science. Tesla always encouraged the world to, if you will, embrace non-physical science. He said that a number of times. And later in his life, Tesla was working on physical energy, scalar energy. He saw the merit, he saw the benefits.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's so wonderful. I am so glad that you're doing this kind of work. And so for the folks out there, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about some of your other unusual experiences you've had working with scalar energy or scalar light.
We've worked for 5 years with a clinic in Delhi, India, the Om Prakash HIV/AIDS clinic in Delhi, India. This is a photograph from the clinic. At one time, everybody in this HIV clinic was positive, HIV positive. After submitting their photograph to us, everybody who's gone through our program has told us that they no longer have the symptoms of HIV. Many of them have had follow-up PCR tests. And those PCR tests show no viral load for the HIV virus.
Wow.
All of them. Anybody who's had a follow-up PCR test, they're all undetected. No viral load for HIV.
Wow. That is so incredible and such good news. Oh my gosh. So and thank you for doing that, by the way. You know, and there are a lot of people around the world that just don't have the money to invest in expensive treatments or in you know, Medicare as we understand it. And so the potential for healing is fantastic. So do you make those devices yourself?
Yes, yeah, it's all custom built. And for that reason, nobody's been able to duplicate my results. What I'm doing is unprecedented. These instruments are unique. I'll try and show the audience. I'll move the camera. That's the scalar energy instrument. Now, if you observe it closely, there's no moving parts because I'm simply tapping into energy. This is not a rotating induction motor. So these are custom built scalar energy instruments. This will be the prototype of the future for free energy.
Wow. And so I know I keep saying wow, but it's just also incredible. I'm just really, really thrilled to hear all about this. So I'm just wondering, we have a few minutes left. What else do you want to tell us about your work, about scalar energy, about scalar light?
I want to make this comment, and I'll show you my example. Thinking, a thought. Obviously, a thought transcends time and space. Okay, you cannot put thought, consciousness into a box. So every time we think, it passes through the universe instantaneously. There's no dimension that it cannot find itself in, thought or wisdom. Well, there has to be a paradigm for thought. What is the paradigm for thought? Scalar energy. So thought, consciousness, feelings, those notions, those, if you will, feelings, there has to be an instruction. There has to be some type of motif, some type of paradigm model for thinking and feeling. So consciousness is only possible in a scalar energy environment that transcends time and space. We've made that clear. Electricity and magnetism do not transcend time and space. They're very slow. In an electromagnetic paradigm, you only can be in one place at a time. In a scalar energy paradigm, you're holographic. You can bilocate, you can trilocate, you can multilocate. So what's the point? There's two dimensions, there's two realities. In a scalar energy dimension, we transcend time and space, just like thinking. Our thoughts transcend time and space. Is there another reality? Yes. Scalar energy thoughts or scalar energy feelings are that other dimension. We've already proven that there's another dimension. Thinking and feeling, consciousness is the other dimension.
Yeah, that also that also agrees with a lot of people's near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences, even what's been observed with what I'm going to call UFOs. There's so much evidence of it. I don't see how people cannot see it. And so, we need trailblazers that are doing the kind of work that you're doing to tell us about it so that we know in what direction to move, because consciousness also changes everything. And so from the eye of the observer comes reality. So the more of us that make shifts in our personal reality, the more that we can help bring about positive change to the world. Now, I'm just curious, Tom, for people who are interested in perhaps participating in, I don't know if you call it treatment or a session, what can people expect? What would they do? What would be their first step? Their first step, would it be to email you, contact you through your website? And then what would you require of them? And then what would the process look like so that they have an idea?
We have on our website, thank you, 15 days of free session. And I do that because I want to introduce this to the world. My goal is to help humanity. All you're going to do is email us your photograph. That's it. You can include your family members and your pets. Now, email us just a bus shot, and the age of the photograph does not matter, and we will do the rest. For 15 days, we're going to balance your chakras. We're going to send that download of Holy Spirit upon your photograph. Another hour in the day, we're going to look for, identify microbes, germs, and eradicate them. And then the remaining 22 hours a day, we're going to download nutrients. So the entire process is 24 hours a day. An hour for chakras, an hour for nutrients, and the remaining, an hour for pathogens. The remaining 22 hours are for nutrients. So for around the clock, for 15 days, you're receiving this energy. And most people feel better within a day or two. Most people say that the chakra balancing allows them to sleep, a very deep sleep, a very needed and restful sleep. Others will say that the chakra balancing allows them to dream or even have dream recall. Some people say that within a week or two, they see that their appetite is suppressed, or that they're happier, or that the chakra balancing is starting to work on one of their addictions, an alcoholic or a drug addiction. Now, all of that's beyond my scope. I don't claim to be the healer. So this divine energy with this infinite set of instructions, this infinite intelligence, that's what's healing you. It's the hand of God. It's the Holy Spirit that's healing you.
And are you able to do all of this work on your own, or do you have a team or a clinic, or where do you work from?
And this is the clinic, so to speak. This is my laboratory. In this one laboratory, I could easily work with 10 million people a day through their photograph. Now, I can't take 10 million photographs, but if the world gave me 10 million photographs, one person, in this case myself, could easily work with 10 million people a day. So yes, I work, I'm the only researcher to answer the question.
And so really, there's no limit to how many photographs you could work with in a day, and every day you do these procedures to help people, to heal them, to nourish them, to give them the things they need. And then how often would they need to come back and have more sessions or boosters or whatever you would call it?
Yeah, that's entirely subjective. We leave that up to people. And some people, they'll visit us every 2 or 3 months and then take 2 or 3 months off. Others enjoy it so much they sign up for our year-long program. So my goal is simply to introduce this to the world. I leave it up to the people how often they want to be treated. But the key is this. After 4,000 or 5,000 testimonies that have been submitted to us, we know that something is happening. that something very favorable is happening. Even though this cannot be proven yet, it's a new science. It really, by rigorous standards, it cannot be proven. It's our testimonies that really serve as a body of evidence. There's something quite profound going on.
Yeah, sure sounds like it. It's just so fantastic. And I can't think of anything that the world needs more right now is that type of new way of approaching health and longevity and quality of life. So yeah, wow. Definitely put my hand up for you. That's fantastic work.
Thank you. Thank you. You see the big picture here. We're leaving behind, if you will, the brick and mortar, as I said. We're leaving behind the physical impediments. There's no physical impediment. There's no obstacles in the quantum realm. Everything is easy. Spirit is easy. Working through physical matter, that's difficult.
Yeah, it sure is. And slow.
Yes,
and,
it is.
And there's really no comparison because, like you said, there's no time and space when you're dealing with scalar energy. And so this energy is all around us. And I guess what your equipment does is it captures it and directs it so that it gets to where it's needed. How are you doing on the clean energy front as far as providing energy that we could use to power our homes and things? You know, funny thing, I got to tell you, I get visions. I can't explain it. I'm just a freaky old lady. And I had a vision that at one point in the future, not too far in the future, we would be able to run everything that needs energy from our quantum field, from our own personal field. And I don't know if that's true or not, but what a difference that would make if we didn't have to spend $500 a month to heat our homes. I'm up in Canada, so it's cold here. And it's very, very costly to heat our homes in the wintertime. But to operate our vehicles and everything else, and then to have that energy clean so it's not polluting. Are you developing equipment in that arena? And if so, how far out are you from actually bringing that to market?
I am working on a power generator to at least illuminate a building, all by way of scalar energy at a distance without the use of wires or satellites. I'd say if God gives me the wisdom, I'm making good progress. Within the next 5 years, I'll be able to demonstrate the illumination at a distance by way of scalar energy, free energy to illuminate an object.
Now that takes me back to Tesla's work again. Wasn't he able to transmit energy without wires, without anything like that? He could light up huge buildings and cities, and I think he did it at one of the world expositions.
Yeah. Tesla was working in Colorado Springs with a scalar energy tower, and he was able to plant light bulbs in the ground and illuminate them. So we've established that. He was on the way to giving the world free energy, but the cabal stood in his way. You know, there was just too much for them to lose. They were not going to allow this new technology to change the economic order.
Yep, exactly. And Wilhelm Reich was doing similar work with what he called orgone energy. Just by layering organic and inorganic materials, he was able to bring in, I'm guessing, scalar energy.
Yes.
And he was healing people too. And of course, he got put in jail until he died, and all of his research was confiscated, all his books were burned, everything. And I agree, there are forces that do not want us to be well because it's based on a money system, which is actually, when you think about it, although we're used to it, it seems a bit insane because it means that anything that creates scarcity, whether it's health or an object, then we have to buy it and we have to work all day as debt slaves, make the money, then to pay it over just for the necessities of life. And again, those things don't actually cure or benefit us. They just create more scarcity, which requires more effort, more work, and then more money. And it's ridiculous because money is not even a thing. Like they're just making it up. Like it's bizarre. It's bizarre. People often say to me, Karen, I don't understand how cryptocurrency works. And I say, well, do you understand how money works? And they go, yeah, you earn money. But the reality of it is none of that money is worth anything. It's all been, I don't want to get too much off track here, but my point that I'm trying to make is that this system has to go. And I think the way it's going to go is from a grassroots level, with individual people understanding the nature of reality, number one. Number two, understanding that we have more power than we've ever believed that we had. And then as a grassroots movement, healing ourselves, because then we can think clearer, we can function better, we can step outside of the construct or the societal norms of taking care of ourselves. And it'll be slow in the beginning. I think it's already happening, but I think that is how we get rid of the cabal. We don't have to go in and shoot people and do all that nasty wet work, pardon the expression, because we can do it by transforming ourselves. And again, it starts with awareness, and it ends with awareness. So I'm just really excited by your message and what you have to offer everybody. I'm wondering if I want to give you the platform just to go back to whatever else you want to say to the viewers and the listeners. Those of you who are listening to this on the audio podcast, you might want to come and check out the visuals. You can see some of the images that Tom has displayed for us. But yeah, what would you like to add? What have I forgotten to ask you?
No, that's very thorough. Thank you, Karen. We see that this is a new technology with great promise. I'm all about solving problems. I believe in results. Scalar energy will solve our problems. So those of you who are disgruntled with the status quo, why don't you try something different? Scalar energy, a new technology, will answer many of our problems. It's the solution to many of our problems. That's the entire point of my research. Okay, I want to see mankind advance. You can start by visit the website scalarlight.com, upload your photographs, just email your photographs. If it works, then tell your family and friends. Help me get the word out. As a grassroots movement, we can really improve the world and do it rather quickly because there's no impediments. I want to make this very clear. I don't work with government or big business. I don't want to work with government or big business. If I work with people, we can streamline this very quickly.
Yeah. I can't think of a more profound revolutionary work that we could be doing right now. This is very, very exciting. So for those that are listening on the audio podcast, Tom, do you want to say again where people can reach you? So do you want to say your website again and any of your other links, if you can tell people where they can find you?
Scalarlight.com is the website. That's spelled SCALAR light.com. We have all of our social media on the homepage also. The key element is to be aware, at least to educate yourself as to this new possibility. Please, without obligation, please try the 15-day free session and then share it with family and friends. This is an easy way to balance your chakras and get rid of microbes, germs. It's all free. It's painless, as we've mentioned. All it takes is a photograph. There's no commitment on your any enterprise to flourish. There are a number of factors. It has to be sustainable. Well, if this is sustainable, the instruments are working. All we need are photographs. And all we need is, if you will, advertising or promotion. Well, the people can promote it by sharing the 15-day free session. So in many ways, this is a done deal. It's just a matter of time before people get on the bandwagon and really promulgate this notion.
And I also encourage all the listeners and the viewers to share this video with your family, with your friends, with people who you think will benefit from it, or even just people you don't think would benefit from it. Just share it all out everywhere and let's get the word out, because I think this is something really exciting, beneficial, not that hard to do, and
Right.
let's get started on it. I'd love to get started on it right away.
Yeah.
So I guess that's about it for today. Tom, if you ever want to come back and be on the show again, please feel free to contact me. Those of you who are watching and listening, please leave us a comment below. And for heaven's sakes, contact Tom. Take advantage of his free trial and see the benefits. The proof is in the pudding, as they say.
Thank you so much, Karen. Thanks for your effort. As grassroots, we're going to get the message out, and it's people like you. Bravo. Thank you.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today, and we'll see you again next week on the Quantum Guide Show. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you for joining me for the Quantum Guide Show. Become the change that you wish to see in the world. Subscribe to my YouTube and other channels at Karen Holton TV. Click the like button, leave me a comment, and share this podcast with your friends. Check out my website at www.karenholtonhealthcoach.com to see my free resources and amazing products and services. All the links will be in the description below. As part of the Forbidden Knowledge Network, you will find the Quantum Guide Show with Karen Holton and also the Aliens and Angels podcast on all audio platforms. Until next time, keep up the good work.